Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be taking a look at a Nature's Gift Scoia'tael Symbiosis deck that I put together for 10.6, and this one is a very point-heavy deck. Okay, there's a lot of moving engines, there's a lot of huge point swings. Now, it doesn't have a great amount of control, but I feel like the sheer tempo makes up for that, and we do have some good control. So we're getting nice tall punish or hard removal with Great Oak. We have a bit more utility for removal with Dunka, and then of course we have the potential of triple rebukes, right, with the Force Protector. And then we can top things up with maybe some damage ideas from the Sorceress and some random bleeding given by the Oak Critters. So it does have some removal and some damage, which makes it still very competitive in my opinion. However, this could outpoint your opponent very quickly. This has the potential to 2-0 your opponent just because it's hard to deal with. If we have an inexpensive round 1 off a couple bronzes, and then we pull well in round 2, even if Eithné is not transformed, we can still push for a 2-0 in a lot of cases. So you'll see different matchups today. I've got 4 or 5 games for you guys, and you could see kind of how this deck rolls out. I played this from rank 3, I think, down to 1, and then I revisited it today in pro rank, and it's tried and true. I played against a few of the top players on the ladder for last month in pro rank because it's early in the season and I've crammed quite a few games and my win rate's fairly high. So again, we're playing against really good people. The deck's doing really well. It's feeling very comfortable. I don't think that there's anything that I would change between when I made this deck on stream and when I played it right now. It just feels that good to me, right? There is maybe an option to add a lock, but I just don't know what I would take out in exchange for it, right? It just doesn't feel like something I would want to do at this point. So to go through the list here, Great Oak's really good for removal. So damage an enemy unit by the number of cards to the left of Great Oak, then boost self by the number of cards to the right of Great Oak. So what we could do with this here is we could put this all the way to the right side, right? And then damage an enemy unit by 9. Because we're going to have the row full most often. Because we have the treants spawning off the leader. We've got things that are spawning like the Freixenet are spawning tokens. We've got the Oak Critters that are spawning and going wide. So we have ways to get that row set up perfectly for a Great Oak. Getting 18 points, 9 of which are for removal. I guess you could say 8 of which are for removal, right? Because 7, yeah. It's more like an 8 plus a 9 versus a 9 and 9. But either way, you're still getting that 8 points of removal reach. You're getting a 9-point base power unit. Maybe this has some hand buff on it. It works for a really good finisher. But if we don't have a target to remove that's worth that much, we can sort of put it somewhere in the middle of the row. So if I take, let's say, you know, a 5 power engine on their side of the playing field, maybe we just put it like the 6th card, we put 5 to the left of it, but we have a few over to the right, which means, you know, we'll remove that engine, but then we'll get a few boosts on Great Oak. So very flexible card, and it's a really good bleeding tool. Just be careful using it to bleed if you're playing against Nilfgaard, because you give them quite a good card that they can just pick up with something like Yennefer's Invocation, right? So keep that in mind. Eithné Young Queen got a rework. This has to be one of my favorite Scoia'tael cards right now because of immunity. It's really cool because you could play like a low unit type style with Symbiosis now, which goes really wide. It feels funny, but in short round, Eithné really cleans up. So don't be afraid to bleed round 2 if you have Eithné in hand for round 3, because look, immunity can't be manually targeted. Symbiosis 3, plus our leader gives this one passive symbiosis, so we have symbiosis 4. So what that means is, you know, basically we have this here. Whenever we play a nature card, spawn a watering tree on a random row and set its power equal to the number of symbiosis you control. So every time we play a nature card, because we have Eithné there, we're getting a 4-point treant. Just a 4-point token. So you can imagine in a 3 or 4 card round 3, you put down Eithné, play a couple specials, play Gourd off a tutor. You've got 12 points off 3 specials in addition to Eithné's 10. It's crazy, right? So that's why it's such a powerhouse, and they can't do anything about it. Whereas before, Eithné would be 6 base power with Veil. Really easy to remove the 6, or fairly easy to remove the 6, but then the 2 tokens that it would have beside it these were super easy to remove. Especially playing against elves, you'd want to give them vitality to try to keep them alive, then they take waylays, and it'd be just like the perfect waylay setup. If they're doing waylay machine gun, you can imagine Eithné and both of these are gone in one turn, making this virtually unplayable because there's so many elves going around in the meta. But now it actually stands true, and now you can actually beat that matchup. So interesting enough, Simlas is going to be used as a tutor. It's going to be helping with us getting a couple of our cards out of the deck. Most often we're going to be looking for the Bountiful Harvest, right? We want to be able to create and play cards and just rotate Bountiful Harvest, because if we create and play you know, a sorceress, then we can basically try and get that sorceress to 6 power, so that when we use the order of this card, we can maybe recreate another Bountiful Harvest, and you just rotate it that way, right? And when we have our Symbiosis units out there, like the Hamadryads, like Eithné, Freixenet with the tokens, you can imagine that we're getting a lot of passive points from doing the Bountiful Harvest rotation. Now, alternatives to this, right? If this is not an option, if we brick it, whatever the case, we have good options with Caress, right? If we got a couple Hamadryads on the board, it would be a really good pull to have something like these come out, especially if we have Elven Seers also there. Huge swing. We don't feel guilty about doing that. Temperings are like the last resort backup to this here. You'll notice that I don't have any dwarfs in the bronze end, and that's intentional because I want to make sure that it's 100% guaranteed at any point of the game that I can get gored off the Isengrim's Council. So we don't want to do dwarves. However, the armor's not that important. I think basically tempering gets the value from just even playing off Seer, or just even playing when we have a bunch of Symbiosis out there. So that's why tempering's in the deck, and I think it's just, again, the secondary doesn't mean a lot with this card in the deck. That's basically it. You know, you have Forest Protector, which is going to be playing a Bronze Nature card from our graveyard. So we have a couple options, right? We've got the 1, 2, 3, and the 4, and you know, we can use our discretion. Every matchup might be different. Maybe against Nilfgaard you want to take a Purify, maybe against Syndicate you want to take a Purify, maybe against something greedy and something more engine based we could take a Bountiful Harvest. You know, maybe we just need points right now and we need them guaranteed. Take a Tempering, whatever the case. Dryad's Caress off a Hammer. Like, just options at least. Removal for something with Rebuke, maybe we're playing against Siege, you know what I mean? So definitely some options there. Call of the Forest allows us to play any Scoia'tael unit from our deck and boost it by 1. So we're Devotion here. We have a lot of Scoia'tael units, so this is going to help us get cards that we can't tutor off the Isengrim's Council. For example, Great Oak, right? So if you are using Call of the Forest, don't be taking cards like Eithné or, you know, the bronzes if we can help it, because it's meant to be, for us to get the Great Oak, the Protector, you know, the Freixenet, like the stuff that we can't tutor off Council. So keep that one in mind. Last resort for the things that we can get off Council with the Call of the Forest. And the boost by 1's kind of nice. Isengrim's Council's pretty good here too. Look at a random Dwarf, Dryad, and Elf from your deck, play 1, boost it by 2. We only have a couple Elves, and they're the Elves that work with this 1 Bountiful Harvest or 1 nature rotation play. So that was also deliberate, right? You'll see here the 2, 3. So they all work together, and that was also deliberate, which is why I didn't really want to have a lock. Because what happens is if I have Simlas, right? Then I'm like, okay, and I have Gord in hand, so we don't need that. We have everything else we need. I can roll out 50-50 draw on these, and I don't feel bad about either. You see what I'm trying to say? So it keeps the synergy going strong. If I have Eithné in hands, then it's like a 50-50 on the Dryads because we've got 3. So Duncan doesn't feel that bad. Hammer doesn't feel that bad, right? So keep that in mind. Then it's just 100 on the gourd. So very, very smooth with the Council. This is one of the things that I find a lot of times it's easy to get mixed up, but the ratios here and the reasoning here just feels really comfortable. Freixenet got the rework. First game of the season, I played this card. I played it on the wrong row. Be careful, guys. Before, it wasn't row locked to range, but now it's actually row locked to range, so you have to play this card on ranged. And it's basically spawn a young dryad on the row. It's a, symbiosis token. Cooldown 4. Devotion at the end of your turn. Lower the cooldown by the duration of vitality on self. So you're going to be getting the cooldown with the vitality, and then, the actual cooldown of 4. So they kind of work together, which is nice. You could speed it up a little bit. If you know vampires, if you know monsters, right? Catachin is an example of a card that's very similar in construction. I think that this card's great right now because this, with a couple bronzes, could win a round 1. I don't like taking this with me to round 3 or when we're playing Eithné, because putting down Freixenet, putting down a Hammer, putting down Eithné, and then starting to play is very slow. It gives the opponent more time to react to what we're doing, and I feel like there's less success rate with it. So playing this early feels pretty good to me. Okay, it also makes sure we don't overswarm, because that's certainly a possibility when we start firing out tons and tons of specials and we have tons of symbiosis stuff out there and it just gets wild, especially in a long round. So careful with that, right? Now, Dunka talked about her a little bit. Just nice little hand buff, nice little carryover. Dunka is really nice for keeping things like Sorceress going and keeping them closer to the Bountiful Harvest threshold that we would need, because these have to be 6 base power, right? So you can imagine we can just get even 1 boost on it, greet a leader charge or something off it, brings it to 6 the turn of, we use it next turn. You see what I'm trying to say? If opponent takes 5-point damage on it, it's 1 power. We take a tempering on it, it's back up to 6 that turn, we use it. So it's very smooth in the way that it plays out. And this is just like, I've been working on Symbiosis since like 7.4 or 7.0. Like, it's been a long time since I've been really trying to master this one here. And this is probably one of my favorite ones yet. Now, Gourd, of course, is one of those ones that's just a big payoff finisher. This is not like the only win condition like I found it used to be anymore. This is just a win condition. You'll see in some of the games today that we actually missed Gourd and we still won the game, right? So deploy boost self by 0, increase the boost by 1 for every special card you play this game. Boost cannot exceed 12, so we're going to be playing more than 12, and normally you go like minimum unit 13 when you're playing a lot of specials, but since we have so many create in place, 15's fine for units, and this card should have no problem getting up to the max here. So playing 15 points for 7 provisions as a little slam finisher, that or the oak just make for a good finisher. If you get both, even better, right? So we talked about Bountiful Harvest, create and plays, hand buffs and all that. Sorceress, same sort of thing applies. Removal, Symbiosis. This one's pretty cool because at the end of your turn, if this unit has Vitality, boost self by 1. So essentially, you want to get Vitality on this card as early as you can and as long as you can, but you have to know when to shut it down, because if you expect a tall punish, guys, if you expect an Ornate Sensor, if you expect a Heat Wave of Spores, Yennefer's Invocation, like the list goes on, don't put this to 25 points, right? Cut it off somewhere around 10-15 so the opponent loses value on the removal, right? It still does play for Symbiosis, so you definitely want to have it out there instead of just punish nice and early and, you know, the huge point swing from them to you, and it just gets harder to come back and sit around, right? So that's pretty much it. And Oak Critters here, a couple reasons why they're in the deck. Just here for the row boost, right? If it's a short round, this really helps us too with the Great Oak, but also it got the buff. It got 4 bleeding now instead of 3. I feel like this is something that you just want to put in your decks. It doesn't conflict with the Isengrim's Council. It plays for 8 points, the 2, and the 4 bleeding, and if you can get this down early in the round, you're doing pretty well. If you're playing against vampires and they give you a free flatter, 4 bleeding is kind of nice because you get the extra 4 points on the flatter on our side of the playing field. So really cool stuff. And I definitely recommend trying this deck out, guys. I had a lot of fun playing it. I'm going to continue to play it. This is going to be one of my go-to Scoia'tael decks for this season here as I'm trying to push for 2500. And that's pretty much it. If you guys want to keep up on some of the deck development before the guides, I'm going to be doing more live streams this month than I've done in the past. I've been enjoying it, but I'm really trying to amplify and get more content out there and really grow the channel. So this is like a push period for me. So feel free to drop by one of the streams. Every day we're going to be doing something different. The ideas that work are going to be converted into deck guides later on, but the footage for the deck guides will be recorded after the stream. I'm not going to be using stream footage for a deck guide. It's going to be completely separate content. So if you guys don't like live streams, tune into these, and pretty much, yeah, if you want to see both, you could see both, whatever the case. But that's pretty much it, guys. If you enjoy the content that you see, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll be uploading this one on playgwent.com so you can quickly import it to your game and get started with it today. And I'll be back with another video tomorrow, so we'll see you soon. But for now, let's get into the gameplay. So we got Nature's Gift against Nature's Gift. I think a lot of it comes down to who can get down Dunka first. Who can draw better. Eithné goes. Harvest goes. Rebukes feel important here. I think Oak Critters are pretty slow. Like, this won't make a huge difference. They'll take Caress anyway, sort of bleeding. It plays for like 4 or 5 points. So we'll try and, you know, just do better here. I don't have Dwarf Dried Elf. I don't think we ever do that round 1. We'll just take it and see what happens here. Like, the elf part's nice, right? Dwarf Dried Elf. Do I remove that? No, I think we just take this. We'll boost this one up as well. Reduce that cooldown, make it matter. And then hopefully they don't have 6. If they have a second one, that's such a good trade for them. Right, deploy 3 plus 3 gets it for them. But again, we got to protect that. It's a good engine for us.
Mother Earth, I grant you my life. From you it came, to you it returns. We must save the trees.
I don't know if I should take Simlas early with this one. They took a leader, I'll take a leader. I guess we could respect that a little bit, right? Here, we got Symbiosis 4 now. 3+1 with leader. They got a bricked harvest. I think the plan is to go and put down Elven Seer and just float it. And then try and take the tempering play and just get out at that point. I don't think they have any sort of movement stuff, so we don't have to worry too much about it. That's fine.
War will be our downfall. This I have seen.
This card turned into one of the cards like that I actually really like to play now, whereas before it just felt kind of, you know, tough to play. So, did we spend more than them? No. I think we optimized our plays a bit better because they have the 1 harvest engrave. Whereas, like, we got the 2 pull off the Simlas, which is just, like, really good. If I have a good hand, I'm going to push it, okay? Spawn 2 is not bad. 10, but it's Sim 2 instead of Sim 3, but we have such a better push if we do it. I just don't know if they're gonna do some like crazy dwarf stuff, and it might just be like different than what we're expecting here. Well, I don't know. I don't like a long round 3 if they're not gonna do the full swarm thing like us. I feel like in this instance, I'm supposed to just play it. And we don't take that because I'm worried that they have another one of these. So we give them more value if we use the leader charge on it. And then from here, we could just take Sim last and not feel awkward about it. Maybe take Hammer first.
Tis my tree. I was born. I shall die with it.
And we just gotta go for it now. Like, I'm gonna take Sim last, just play a lot. That's what I was worried about. We take the boost. We'll take that as well.
I must re-examine the manuscripts.
I think we're supposed to take that. Keep that alive. It's important. They take rebuke on that, right? We're hanging on. I think I need to take another... Gotta take another harvest here.
Spit it out already. I don't have all day.
Do they have another rebuke? That's the question. I hope not. We gotta have one of these stick. Like, I need 1 and 2 to stick. Because that's gonna be enough points to really push us. Damage by 2 by 3? Yeah, simple enough. Holy. That's fine. I think we still get this one. Like, that would be a pass for me, but I'm not convinced. Waylay's not bad. Orb's not bad. But Orb up front is kind of slow, but actually, Orb up front's not bad. Contradicting, but I just saw the line with this, and it's like, why not? It comes back, right?
Ugh, stop gurgling like that.
And then when we play... What's the counter here? 3? Okay. So we could get it back. Don't play Brewer. Brewer's like one of the only things that I'm terrified of. Brewer and Great Oak. We're getting tons of specials in here for Gord, though. Oh, that's a good swing, too. Sure. Don't hit the Dryad, please. Ugh. So... pull a Dwarf, an Elf. I think what I do want... I think we want to actually look at it, because I want this to keep the chain. Perfect. Now, we don't get the best Bountiful, but we do get, obviously, double Tempering, which is wild. And what that means, too, is that next turn counter ticks, so we get the extra points on the Hammer. Zoltan's kind of ugly. Maybe we can roll a Purify. Let's see here. 3. I mean, we probably just kill this engine. And then that fills up the row. We gotta pass. I mean, we don't have to pass. We could take a rebuke.
Though trees live longer than humans, they need protection from.
What if... Here's the thing. If they can answer this, it's bad. But I still don't think they can in one turn. I'm going to take this right now and just get the points here. Yeah. If they take Censor, we might get the point back on our side. So I'm not too worried about that type of play. Right, we've got a couple options here. But they have a lot of 2s and a lot of 1s too. Okay, we got the 2-0 here. And next up here we got probably Self Wound, right? Curse Scroll. Okay. Put that back. This is good. I think we got to put back Eithné. You know, that's a hand that we can actually play down quite well round 1. They go Defender Melusine. There's not a lot we could do about that. Like, I can... Yeah, it's bad. We have no Graveyard Punish in a deck like this, right? It's boosting the wrong one. They're just gonna stuff everything behind the defender. Four bleeding's kind of a trade down. But I don't see a line where we ever get more. My hand is really good. Hand's really good. This heals itself. They get me trapped. And they just get more value. They get the long round they're looking for. I don't want to give them a huge Melusine play. For no reason. So we'll put back one of the Bountiful Harvests, right? Take Gourd. I don't know if we ever want to hold Gourd, though. I think we actually put him back because we have access. And also, it's just a really slow play at this point, right? I would imagine that Op tries to bleed. Just because they want to get the most value possible with the Melusine. So this is going to be Ursine into Rights, into Melusine, and just try and get that short round 3. Super big carryover type thing. Is there any way we can deal with this? We didn't play Rebuke. think we just gotta put some engines down. Man, I really wish we had answers here. Holy. If I go call, it doesn't work. Okay. See, we want the Simlas for the, maybe we can roll a rebuke off this.
I could drown you in a single.
See if we can keep that going too. It's important. That's the big thing. If they play Callus here, it's just a loss. Actually, 5 and 5. It's 2 engine removals. We'll see. Depends on what we get. There's Rebuke. I'll take Protector. Two. We still have the rain.
Free me! Lift me to the sky! Devour me!
Earth, choke the embers. Wind, blow out the flame.
That's a lot of points, guys.
As you command, Lady of the Wood.
Mother Earth,
On a positive note,
from you it came to you.
they can't get the defender back later, and maybe they don't have Sigvald. I'm just worried about like a 30-point Melusine off of Nut Callus.
Children giving parents.
If these two stick, we're doing really well. Like, at least for the next turn. That's another Marjoram. Please, please, please. Okay, one of them stuck. That's fine. We can get another elf.
You must banish her. I see no other path, sire.
Only if we had a squirrel too. So we'll do 1, 2. You see the plan. Wow. Now, if they don't draw, they don't win still, because Melusine still has to come back. Keep in mind they played Bride of the Sea. $76.
The forest burns! We must save the trees!
I think we take caresses here, don't we?
Why should I, an elf, a sage, converse with an ape?
7 and basically we go call. These are going to get 4, so 78. So we need about 10, give or take, points. It's got to be the Great Oak, which is fine because in short round it's not very good anyways. Now, us winning depends on them not getting this. And they've spent all the tutors. So it's whoever top decks better. Gord's here. Okay. I guess it's going to be that, yeah. $32 points. This is card for card Lirio's list. I posted a deck guide on this one recently if you guys are interested in that deck. 3 plus 3 versus 4 plus 2. This is more secure. Except if they restore it. Okay. Fukusha Malacine just wins, guys. Let's see. If they miss it, we win, but we got lucky. And next up, we got hand buff. We go first. Let's have a look here. So, same old, applies. We try and get rid of Eithné in round 1. We try and get rid of the bountifuls from hand in round 1. And then I usually don't like having doubles of bronzes. I find it's pretty greedy. So maybe one of the critters goes back. We've got a couple rebukes to prevent their hand buff. Nice here, because I could just play Dunka, boost it up, and we're good to go, I think, with that. And hand buff, there's more that can go wrong with, obviously, their drawing. Triss Butterflies makes things a little bit easier, but so many different versions going around right now that I don't know which one to prepare for. I want to get out the critters quick because I don't really want to buff them and keep them with us. I also have to decide pretty quickly, depending on what they play, if we're going to play Freixenet, because this is a lot of points. And if we use it too early, it might not be good for us later on, right? Okay, facts. Just take care of that. Yeah, makes up my mind a little bit easier. If we just answer what they play quick, then they'd be more inclined to leave around or spend rather large with something like Simlast just to get points on the board. So this to me is a carryover play, kind of. You don't really want to take it with you later on because it's just like a hand play, It's like a early game play. So because of that, I think we can afford to take a turn like this, right? A little bit more tempo than this up front. Obviously, they're pulling their Skags, or they're pulling their Simlast, or something like that. We could deal with it as it comes. If they start swinging, this will be the turn that we play the Freixenet. It's still not a swing. Play this. It's a good thing we didn't play. You see what I mean? Because we have really good cards for next round. Good. Protector's worth a lot. We got plenty of rebukes. I mean, I don't know if the rebukes are going to hit the same anymore because obviously a lot of the stuff that, you know, they don't want us to remove is going to be over 5 power. But we'll see. Put this back. 9, 8. I want to bleed, but this is a really bad bleeding hand. Maybe. Yeah, like look at all the stuff we missed. Maybe just do like a mini bleed.
Be our downfall. This I have seen.
Show me the coin or sod off.
That's kind of a problem, yeah. How many specials for Gord? Not much. So what if I just take a couple temperings then? And then we just pass after that. Such a bad play. Or such a bad draw, right? If I can go into the break here and pull Simlas, like literally Simlas, this and this, then I think that we have a good chance at winning the game. If I miss these cards, I actually don't know. I'm really glad we have Eithné, though. We just slammed down Eithné, Wrath, Symbiosis 3. We try to get this going with Vitality as soon as possible, and then we just let it happen. We'll put back Bountiful. We might put back a Rebuke. I don't know. Again, with things boosted, Rebuke feels worse. It could be like a 3-point play. Okay, this is actually not bad. Here, we'll put back Bountiful. Bountiful. Oh no. If I'm going in... Okay, it's got to be Simlas instead of Gord, right?
Fine. If my coin's ranked to you,
Okay, so Freixenet goes down.
who would have thought?
We'll take Eithné. We'll play this. We'll play that. Trying to get the best value possible.
Come to me, little one.
Just to keep it going, right? Put the other one on the right side for symmetry. And good luck. They're playing circles, okay. It's a little bit slower play. We'll see if they have like more bronzes in hand this round here. They haven't played a lot of golds, which tells me maybe they missed some. like early on, and that they're just like really stacked now. But okay, that's out of the way. That's kind of nice.
Tis my tree. I was born with it. I shall die with it.
Because that's going to be their main control tool. Yeah, here are all the gold cards coming out. Please don't be Waylay. I hope it's just like a Bountiful at this point. Yeah, that's alright. We can just match that with ours. I want to keep this going. It's worth a lot of points. They played... No, it's a different opponent. I'm thinking about someone else who played one Bountiful from hand earlier.
We are the eyes of Dolblathan.
Guys, it doesn't seem like much, but I'm telling you, we're on the way here. They take a thin, that's whatever. Hand buff, sure. Maybe they have a glass, I don't know what else. This could be like a dwarf hybrid. If that's the case, it could be kind of ugly for us. I think we're supposed to take this for now. Just try and get as many turns as possible of that extra value, right? A lock?
I do not mince words on principle.
I take it like this because I think it's worth it. I'm playing into Heatwave, but at this point, we have to. Okay, here we go.
Why should I, an elf, a sage, converse with an ape?
Damage doesn't really work like that. Guess this works the best. Because the one. Probably this. So, actually, maybe we try and dump one, because I think they're going to try and flip those.
What are you saying? We fight on my level, eh?
6 points. We don't have it yet. Boost by the amount of elves. There's only 2. Oh, it's ranged. Okay. Is there any Purify we could take that makes sense? Four points. 1 for each elf on the row. It's 3. So it's gonna be 4.
I'm so tired.
Torque for 18? You know, look at this. Just in case. If it's Heatwave, I already lost. If it's a Glass, I don't think it's going to be a Glass. This looks too control. Just in case I'm missing something. We got this one, guys. So we got Pincer Maneuver coming up next here. Eithné can go. These are quite good. I don't know about a caress in round 1. I don't think we need it. That's not bad.
I've no fondness for my
Find yourself your own
yet fish
number.
I still enjoy.
Be kind of cool if there was a leader that gave like a stratagem that gave vitality. I don't think there is. I think we can afford to just set things up like this. The card design for Freixenet is very similar to the card design of Catachan for vampires, but this one here is 8 instead of 9, and they come out at 2 with the leader to kind of help with it instead of 3 like the Ekamaras. That's not good. I mean, I think I just want to take the points from that. And I think I'm willing to just take that without even having a Treant out there, just because it's definitely a big risk. If we let that one go, it's going to get crazy. Without committing Great Oak, there's got to be something we can do. Maybe we just take this here and go for it. This would be the most reasonable thing to chip down at this point, which makes it so that this could potentially live, right? Okay.
Bet my apple you'll not leave Brooklyn, not alive at any rate.
And if they damage it but don't remove it, we've got tempering for it to keep it going, which is just great. At first, I was thinking that this might be a priestess deck, but I don't know. Okay, so we'll just take off here, right? Hopefully it's bountiful. I can get rid of, honestly, I can get rid of this, which is quite nice. Or I can move the Carabalista, which is okay, but it's slow. Maybe we get rid of this. 41-13 off the back of one card that was gold. Wow. Like, actually, wow. We put a couple 6s there, but they played a couple 5s and a 6 and a 9, right?
Ours is not to reason why.
I don't think you have it. Even with Amphibious here. Yeah. This one's a 2-0. I'm pretty sure. Because we'll take Simlas into double bountiful. We have all the... Wow. I like this hand for bleeding purposes as well. There's a chance they might have boiling oil.
'Tis my tree. I was born. I shall die with
I still don't know if they have siege. I'll play melee for now.
Do not test my
Right, if it's kind of annoying if I can't do anything about it. Let's see. Yeah, it just stays. Unless we get good pulls off this, which I don't mind trying. But then it makes me wonder if I should just play Eithné. Eithné doesn't have symbiosis here, but she gives 2. If I pass, we get... I think we just play Dunka.
taking up at ease. Would you like an arrow to the head instead?
I'm just very confident in the ability here to take a 2-0. Just based on what I have. And it might be worth just playing Eithné from hand, even though she doesn't have symbiosis. It's hard to say though.
peace. Fight for it.
Pride. Maybe we don't need to.
I pass on every 10th round.
But I gotta dig a bit deeper here. The thing is... Gord's not worth a lot yet. I want to just... I want to push this game a little bit longer. You know what I mean? Like this match, this round. Playing this feels like we're losing out on something big, though. This is what's making it awkward. I'm just going to get it over with. I think it's siege at this point. I'm very well convinced.
The gold chain. Will it suffice to end the old fool?
That's a good swing on that. So orders boost by 4 whenever we play. I mean, wouldn't we just take? That would be the safe thing to do, just Great Oak it. But then Simlas Bountifuls don't work. Maybe we can roll some damage. Actually, yeah, we just need 3 damage, don't we? Here.
Why should I, an elf, a sage, converse with an ape?
There's a couple. Wait. Perfect. And it's clearly going to be this one. And I want to put it somewhere that's like less attractive for them to hit. Like that.
I could drown you.
Yeah, we'll just use that now. So it lives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 removes that. I think for now we're supposed to just... Is it Henselt that we take or this? Probably Henselt, because we can actually remove it. And then we have 8. but it's probably not actually 8 that we take. This is probably worth more. So 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's make sure we don't make a mistake. I made a mistake with that on stream earlier. Wasn't great. At this point, we just jam this, I think. Now, win conditions that remain would be Forest Protector and Gourd. If I'm looking at Protector, it's going to be for Bountiful Harvest. We have Gourd here already at 10 points and counting, but we know it's going to be 11, 12, plus 13 because of that, so we hit max, right?
A witcher with no honor is no brother of mine.
And we got to get up this boost. But at the same time, I think I'm just going to pass on it. Yeah, they'll have to click, and I don't have to play. Because if I play Protector, we take a Bountiful Harvest, which boosts nothing in hand. We're actually losing value. Nice part about it, too. That's not good. You boost Sabrina.